Oh, I made it back in time. Hey, look, you know how you get how I get that little that dramatic. I'm running through the
Oh
living
my
room in the
God.
kitchen, and I was like, I'm gonna beat the clock. I'm exhausted. Whew. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Listen, I beat the clock, but I actually got to go back to the kitchen because I don't have bottles of water, so that sucks. But it's your team, the Elevation team. One of us is exhausted. The other one is Shanice. Good Lord. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. We give y'all some time to come in. We are the Elevation Academy. Oh man, I'm really tired. I'm sorry. Shanice can take over. Give me like another 60 seconds. I gotta go get this water. Goodbye.
Oh my God. All right, you guys. I don't look, KP don't give me nothing. So it's like freestyle almost every time if I'm taking over. Every time. I don't have look, yeah, I don't have nothing pulled up. But anyway, we're gonna get started with some credit questions. A lot of these we have not answered. Some of them will seem repetitive, but we just want to make sure y'all and we answer y'all questions, and we get to everybody.
And as every week, we pre-apologize because remember the chat for whatever reason doesn't show us all the streams. I know 1 week we had YouTube, 1 week we had Twitch. Most of the time we get our Facebook questions that pop up. Sometimes we get Instagram. So if we don't see your question, we're not ignoring you. It's just that it didn't pop up on our feed and we just legit didn't see it. So we do apologize for that in advance. But I guess we're good to go. Good morning. All right. So I probably should have walked to the kitchen second time. I'm tired.
Probably.
All right, so let's see the first question. And some of these questions, remember, guys, I'm just copying and pasting these questions from the forums that we have. We kind of look them over before the show, but we don't really do like thorough look through. So a lot of the questions they kind of throw us off, just like they're gonna throw you off when we're reading them. So don't think that these are our questions. These are you guys.
These are real reactions.
and we're answering them. So the first one, and I had to break this one down so it can fit on the screen, but I'll read the full question. It says, once you start working on your credit, how long does it take to remove bad credit that's been on your credit report for over 7 years? That one. So let me redo it because the way it was written, it threw me off. All right. It says, once you start working on your credit, how long does it take to remove bad credit that's been on your credit report for over 7 years? So it's almost like he asked the question twice in one question.
So a negative item should not be on your credit report for longer than 7 years. If it's a mortgage, whatever the month of that late payment is going to be there for 7 years. And then after 7 years, either the month before, it really depends on the credit bureau, either the month before or the month after, it's going to fall off. And that's for like a mortgage or a student loan or something like that. And the other reason that it would probably, something would stay there for over 7 years would be a bankruptcy. And you got a couple more years before it ages off. Sometimes you can dispute them for inaccuracy, but if you've been disputing the debt for 7 years, I would have sued 6 years ago, for inaccuracy, But negative items can only be on your credit report for 7 years. So if it's longer than that, it's past the federal statute of limitations. Write it down, file a consumer complaint, and follow up like for the next like 2 months. I wouldn't go 3 or 4 months, something like that. I would let them make their case, whatever it is, document it, and then sue, depending on what type of account it is. The only thing that can be over 7 years is a bankruptcy, though.
Look, that's my favorite S word, sue. We
Yeah.
teach Kaya the letters and sounds. S is for sue because that's all we do.
L is for litigation. Like I'm not playing with these. No.
But yeah, same thing. You pretty much just said if it's been on there for over 7 years, I mean, honestly, a simple dispute letter should get it removed.
Any type of dispute letter.
Most letters or most things that are there for that long. I mean, I think anything over 4 years is a lot easier to get removed because just the longevity. They don't really care about it anymore. Unless you have a stubborn debt collector. We got those few like LVNV funding or Midland, that they want to ride it out for the full 7 years. I don't know the benefit that they get from that, but they tend to want to ride it out. So
they gonna ride this debt into a lawsuit.
Yeah.
I'm not playing.
But yeah, pretty much just anything, man. And to add to that, to the beginning of your question, honestly, it says once you start working on your credit. So regardless of how long those items have been on your credit report, you should go ahead and start doing the positive things now. Start the positive things today. It doesn't matter how negative your report is. How you want to view it is you have to start the positive anyway. You might as well start the positive and start trying to remove the negatives at the same time. So that way, by the time all the negatives are removed, the positives have strength. They have age. They've been on there for a while and they're a lot stronger. And this was a mistake that I used to make when I first got into this industry. I would do the deletions first before adding the trade lines. And then I started to realize, well, now I got my credit, I got my profiles cleaned up, and now we starting to add new stuff. But now I wasted 6 months. I wasted 8 months because they have absolutely nothing now. And then they're starting from the beginning. Through education and learning, I understood that if I start adding these, even if they're trash credit cards or trash, like installment loans and things like that, it's still a positive account. And you can utilize that to get the better cards and to get the better limits, and then you can cancel those. Everybody hears and everybody knows you're not supposed to close credit cards or old credit cards. The thing is, when you have bad credit, you only can get approved for the bad credit cards or the secure credit cards, which usually don't have, the best interest rates. They don't have any cashback rewards. They don't really have a point system. So a tip to that is get the ones you can get and use them appropriately until you're able to get the better ones, and then close them before they have any type of significant age. Like Credit One Bank, they're trash, and I you guys, if you want to quote me, I can tell you right now, Credit One Bank is trash. The Indigo card is trash. Merrick Bank has secure credit cards, pretty good, but the interest rate is trash. Any credit card, excluding American Express, but any credit card that has over $100 annual fee, I mean, hell, even $100 annual fee is bad, but any credit card that has over that, run from it. Do not use those credit cards unless, like I said, American Express, I think theirs is like $6.95, but it comes with so many perks that you're actually getting a discount with them only charging you $6.95. So again, it's do your research, obviously, but
I was gonna say, but for American Express, bad credit, they're not giving you no card. I think the American Express equivalent to a credit card for bad credit, because American Express does have like subprime credit cards, is Credit One, if I'm not mistaken. So, if you're applying for any type of a credit card that has an annual fee, you're going to have really, really, really good credit after you get out of once you get out of the subprime credit cards or whatever. And then the use has to supersede, the amount that you're going to pay. Like, you know what I mean? Like the benefit has to be greater than, the $700 annual fee that you're going to pay or whatever. If you get that card and you do have the annual fee that is that high, I hope you're living on credit and you're not using cash or
Right.
anything like for nothing.
All right, so that touched on that one. The second question, and we're again, Shanice already said it. The questions might seem repetitive, but that's only because we don't really have a good order. It's just as the questions come in, we take 3 questions per person, and person 1 and person 2 might have asked the same question, so we're sorry for that. We got some chat questions. It says, so you guys are popping up as Facebook users. If you haven't registered, this is what we'll see. So I don't want you to think we're not saying your name. So Facebook user said, Chase Freedom is a good stepping stone card for subprime cards. Discover it as well. Both of those are great cards. Just the name brand, Discover and Chase, those are 2 very good creditors or lenders. Chase has a variety of cards. I believe Chase is partnered with Southwest. So if you guys travel with Southwest and have good credit, grab their Chase Southwest card. I don't know what airline Discover's with, but I do believe that they're with maybe Delta or American Airlines or something like that. But just know this: if a credit card is associated with the airline, 9 times out of 10 they're a good credit card because they're probably going to give you frequent flyer points or double travel points or something like that. Triple. I know one of the Discover cards actually gives you like 5% cash back for the first year. 5% cash back is ridiculous in a good way, guys. 5% is like great because most credit cards are giving you anywhere from 1 to 3. So 5%, and then you're gonna get the bonuses. I teach you guys about the third-party apps where you can get more of a percentage. So just imagine if you get the 5% from Discover, and then you get like an extra 8% from one of the third-party apps I teach you guys about. You're getting 13% cash back on things that you are going to buy anyway. Remember that. That's the point of credit. You're going to spend this money anyway. So now you're being rewarded for it, All right, so that was just that one. The next question, though, was what can I do to have good credit? I'm pretty sure we answered this one when I was laggy last week. I remember. Because I remember trying to talk and everybody saying they couldn't hear me.
Yeah, you were remixing answers. What can you do? What was the question? It was so simple. It was such a simple question.
What can I do to have good credit?
Build credit, like pay your bills on time. Don't apply for credit unless you need it. Inquiries indicate desperation. So the more you have, the more desperate you look. And a lot of lenders, even Capital One, they have a threshold of how many inquiries that they want to see on a consumer's profile. So if you have too many too fast, they will automatically deny you. Chase has a 524 rule. So if you have more than 5 inquiries in a 2-year period, it's an automatic, you on number 6 inquiry, or if they're number 6, they're going to decline you because you look desperate. Just be responsible. Put everything on auto pay. I know people are like, oh no, auto pay, don't do it. I'm like auto pay.
I just saw a post the other day. Somebody was like, I hate auto pay on paydays. I'm like, if you're not overspending, then auto pay is your best friend.
It is. I still say, but with auto pay, still make sure you're doing like a monthly review to make sure that you're not being like double charged or something like that, because it happens.
2 things I wanted to add. When you said the inquiries, personal experience, guys, I applied for one of those Discover cards. I sent it to our group chat. I got declined for one of the Discover cards, and not because of my credit score. It was the reason. You know how they give you a reason on their reason for not approving you? It said I had too many recent inquiries because I just got the Sam's Club card. I got the Sam's Club business card. I just got a couple Capital One cards. I got a new Navy Fed business. You know, I definitely know I got a bunch of inquiries, maybe like 7 to 10 inquiries. So out of that 7 to 10, I probably got approved for like 5 of the cards. I was just going crazy. But the fact that I got declined and their reason was too many recent inquiries, that lets me know, like, okay, well, we got to clean this up. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the ones I didn't get approved for and then apply again. But that it shined a new light on me. It was like, yo, inquiries really can prevent you from getting it.
So look, so here's my tip to you, because you know you got 30 days to go back and like reapply on the same inquiry. I would freeze whatever bureau. I would freeze the other bureaus and then go back in. So like, you know how like certain companies will only pull from a particular place. Capital One does it with all 3 bureaus, but if you have 2 frozen and 1 open, you can actually get a lot more Capital One credit cards by freezing the other 2 and only having it. This way you're kind of like controlling the amount of inquiries. So whatever they pull from last time, freeze that one and freeze another one and let them pull from the 3rd bureau. Because they, you know, a lot of these companies pull from all 3, not just the particular one. I found that out when I was playing around with my Capital One cards or whatever. So I got a new one. And I'm like, let me freeze Experian this time and let me use Equifax. So they pulled it. I got approved.
That was free game, y'all, because I just learned something. Listen, Discover told me I can reapply in 8 days. That was like 4 days ago. So I'm already working on getting them removed. But I'm gonna try to attack again and shoot them again, because Discover is definitely a good card. Chase is a good card. American Express is a great card. It's specific cards. When you guys getting into these 750, 780, 800 range, that's all you want. Now that I know how to utilize credit, now that I know how to run credit, I only want Amex. I only want Amex. I only want Discover. I only want Chase and Navy Fed. You know, Capital One, I did Capital One for the business side, but Capital One, honestly, and is gonna be wild for me to say this, Capital One is not a top tier credit card. Capital One is one of the lower tier credit cards. The reason they're so big is because their criteria is a lot lower, so almost everybody can get approved for a Capital One card. Don't get me wrong. They are good cards. They are good cards, but they're not those top tier cards. So it's like, I would suggest somebody getting a Capital One over a Credit One or Indigo or those cards I complained about. But if you put me up with a Navy Fed card versus Capital One, I'm not taking Capital One. If you put me with an Amex, I'm not at all. So definitely want to make sure those inquiries are low. And I preach below 10. I probably got like 14. So I've been doing a little bad, y'all.
14. I
went applying for everything. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff. I just like adding to my stack. You know, I got my credit stack. Half these cards I don't even use. I gotta make sure that they still active. But I just like to add to my total accounts. Then I tell you guys, I use credit to make money. So this, to me, this is worth more than working a 9 to 5. And the reason why I say that is because the banks, like, if you work a 9 to 5, and this is my personal opinion. I'm not downgrading. I'm not talking down on anybody. But if you work a 9 to 5, how long is it going to take you to get $25,000, right? To save it or to make it? How long is that going to take, depending on your job? It's going to take you a while, a few months, 6 months at the minimum, right? Now, if I have good credit, let's say I have a 750 credit score and I have a 9 to 5, because you can be a 9 to 5 or you can be living paycheck to paycheck with a good credit score if you do it correctly. But let's just say I'm a 9 to 5 and I have a 750 credit score, right? I can go to Navy Fed and say, hey, I want to open up I want to get a credit card with you guys. And they boom. Hey, you got 750. Here goes 25K right here. So I didn't have to work 6 months and save or a year to save to get 25K. I had 750 credit score and the bank gave me 25K. And then I rinse repeat that with several different other banks. Or if we're entrepreneurs, if I go get business credit, and now You know how people got those stacks where they holding the money? I'm holding credit cards because this is 9 times out of 10, this is more money than those stacks that y'all are holding. You know, one of the mentees. I was talking with one of the mentees yesterday, and he said he checked his credit, his available credit, and he's got $78,000 in credit cards. $78,000 that the bank gave you. It was spread across several different cards, but just imagine $78,000. You're not gonna splurge with that. You're not gonna go, buy a car, do nothing crazy. Imagine if you wanted to invest into a real estate property and they needed $50K down. You got $78,000. Obviously there's different interest rates and all those things, but guess what? You have it. If you wanted to jump into real estate with just your 9 to 5 with bad credit, and you had to save to get $50,000 by the time you get it, one, it might not even be $50,000 anymore because of inflation. Two, you might not even want to do it anymore. You're like, it's been 3 years, and you know what? I don't even want to be an investor no more. Let me just go spend this. Or emergencies might pop up. Things are gonna cause you to spend that money because when we see it, we spend it. I got $10K in my bank account, man. I can spend $1,000. I got $15,000 in this bank account. We could go. Let's go. Get front row seats to this concert. We don't need to buy them cheap seats way in the back. I could spend $1,500 a person and get these really good seats up front. Just things like that, and it makes the process longer versus simply having good credit, walking in the bank, and then walking out with $25,000 in your hand, $50,000 in your hand, $100,000 in a business line of credit. So that's really important. I don't even know how I got on that. It must have been like a trigger word to set me off, but we just like to help y'all, man. Getting debt free with KP. Well, get debt free with the elevation team. I'll change it when we do our group calls
eventually.
All right, that was the second one. Let's see the chat. Nothing else in the chat, so we got one more. I mean, we got a few more, but this the next one. Okay, it says how to keep from going back to having bad credit.
Make responsible decisions. Like I'm not trying to be funny, but like realistically, if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. So making responsible decisions when it comes to your credit is literally how you go, stop from going back. You don't overspend, don't stop trying to keep up with the Joneses, because I don't care, about what nobody has. And this is just me personally. I'm not competing with nobody. I don't care what other people have, it really just depends on the individual's, I guess, sense of self, if that makes sense.
No, it is. It's 100% a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to go back to having bad credit, you won't go back to having bad credit. It's that simple. If you want to go out and party with your friends and you want to go do extracurricular activities and you want to have fun and live your life using your credit cards because you have that capability, you're going to go back to having bad credit. If you want to be more responsible and use their credit to build assets, or not even necessarily, I won't even push the entrepreneur motive. I won't even push it because, like I said, you can be on paycheck to paycheck with good credit. You just have to be responsible, understanding that just because I have this does not mean I should spend this. If I only had $1,500 in my spending account, why would I spend $5,000 on any of my credit cards? I mean, unless it's an investment that, I'm looking forward to making money. But let's just say I'm a 9 to 5er. I don't invest. I don't plan to invest. I'm working my 9 to 5. That's it. If I only had $1,500 to spend, if I'm responsible, I'm not going to spend more than half of that. So $750 on any miscellaneous thing. One, I'm going to use my credit card, and then I'm going to pay it back. That way I still have $750 for other things, maybe emergencies and bills and things like that. And I didn't sacrifice risking my credit in case of emergency. Right. If emergency do happen, and like our parents used to tell us, only use your credit cards in an emergency. I wouldn't say only, But when you don't have the capabilities to pay the cards back, then emergencies would be the only situation where it would be acceptable to use a credit card for something. But that's pretty much it. Being responsible, asking for help, asking people what can I do? What can I do to make money, or what can I do to make sure that my credit, stays where it's at? Okay, well, what are you currently doing? Reach out to a credit repair specialist. Reach out to a business coach, a mentor, a family member that has good credit. Just changing your habits. If your friends want to go out this weekend, think to yourself, do I have the money to go out this weekend? Scratch them credit cards. Act like you don't even have them credit cards.
I don't even care if I do have the money. I'm not going like, unless it's a special occasion, I'm not going out. Like, it has to be like major for me to go out. And and there's nothing wrong with having, a good life, but I feel like some people go overboard because, once I'm going to say once we done ran through our 20s and we hit 30s and all of that, some people want to feel like, oh, I'm still young, or, oh, I had this bad breakup, so I'm going to go and live my best life in my 30s. I'm buckling down. You know what I mean? 40 is right there. Like, I'm trying to be laid out on somebody's beach with money, making money. You know what I mean? Like, consistently or whatever. So
you taking it from a Shanice aspect. Remember, I was giving it to him from a 9-to-5er that
look, okay,
entrepreneur
the future
mindset.
Matters, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. But that's just how I look at it personally or whatever. I don't want to go out because my future me matters. Like, even though I haven't got there yet, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's a mindset for some people. So like, if you want to go and you want to live, however you want to live, if you want to live your best life throughout your 30s and consistently, spend your money, you have to, in the back of your head, you have to know, like, long term, consistently spending your money is not a good long-term investment. Like, what are you going to have for cushion when you do hit 40 and 50 and 60 and, hopefully you make it that long? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do when your health, I don't know. I think I look at things like super long term instead of like short term. Yes, there are short term gratifications that you should not deny yourself, but, don't overdo it. I think that's kind of like my point.
There you go. I mean, it's that simple though. Like, everything that she said, pointing back to being responsible. That's all it really is. I like to push the 9-to-5 motive because that's you guys are my target audience. You guys are who I'm trying to help get out of that lifestyle. Everybody doesn't have to be an entrepreneur, and it's okay. But being a 9-to-5er does not prevent you from investing. Being a 9-to-5er does not prevent you from putting money into something that's going to make you more money. You actually make more money than entrepreneurs would, because working the 9-to-5 gives you a security blanket. As where we don't have a security blanket. If me and Shanice are both working the exact same 9-to-5 job and I quit to become an entrepreneur, she also decides to become an entrepreneur. The only difference in the beginning I get is freedom, because she still has to work the 9-to-5. But guess what? Every Friday she still gets a paycheck. I might not get any Friday. So don't get me wrong. I if I hustle and I put my heart into it, I do have more of a potential to grow faster because I have the time, but I am taking more of a risk. And a lot of people jump out there in the entrepreneur world taking that risk and fail. It happens. We fail. Even the successful ones fail. I failed plenty of times. So you don't want to spend irresponsibly. You definitely want to do your research when you're deciding on what you want to buy or deciding on what you want to invest in. Make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then try something else. Just FOMO is a real thing. FOMO is fear of missing out, and it applies to a lot of things. It's mostly, I first heard it in the crypto world and stock and stuff like that, but it applies to virtually anything, because you see a large crowd of people buying something, or you see a large crowd of people doing something, and you want to do it because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to be that one person that's like, oh man, I didn't do it. Everybody else got rich. Prime example. Remember last year, I think it was last year, the year before, Dogecoin. Remember when everybody went crazy?
Man, I was
Everybody
like, oh
went
my
crazy.
God. Yeah.
I know someone, a personal friend of mine, that did make over $300,000-$400,000 off of it. But it was only because he invested $1,000 when it was like 0.0008. He actually forgot he purchased it. He had first got an investment from somebody. He bought it, didn't think nothing of it. He didn't know nothing of it. And then it just shot off. Everybody's jumping in when it's 20 cent, 30 cent, 50 cent. Meanwhile, this guy bought in, it was like less than thousands of a single cent. He got lucky. That's luck. That is not skill. That is not, research. That was just pure luck. That what happened with the Wall Street bets was a group of people that was making movements happen. And if you happen to be invested in whatever they decided at the time, you got lucky.
Yeah.
See, Tyron said I sold it a month before. He talking about the Dogecoin. Yeah, man. That was a wild ride we had. And then I think GameStop went crazy. It was GameStop. Wow. It was a couple of them stocks that shot up super crazy. And see, me not knowing anything about options, I knew very minimum. I started doing little dips, $100, $1,000. I never put more than $1,000 in any one thing. But everything I invested in went down. I'm losing money. I'm like, what? Oh, y'all making money and everybody screaming, buy, buy, buy. Why am I losing money? So the fear of missing out was actually taken from me. So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do your research, because I didn't do no research. Do your research. Understand what you're about to invest in. Understand what you're about to buy. Research the teachers. Research the instructors. Find out if they actually are legitimate. Do they know what they're doing? Is this a good product? It's so many things that you guys can research before you invest anything. And it's really critical, especially for us that not us, but those of you that are living paycheck to paycheck, because you only got that one shot. If you mess up, then everything becomes worse. So it's already risky for you to try it. So you definitely want to make sure whatever you're trying has a higher ceiling of success. Let's see what we have with these questions. How to improve my score even though I had late payments?
You can always dispute if there are errors. I'm not going to say dispute everything because, I'm at the point now, like in credit repair, where everything is not disputable. Look through your report, see if there actually are errors, point those out, or circle them, dispute if that's the case. If that's not the case, if you know that you were late and there are no errors, you got to write it out for 7 years. Just put your bills on auto pay. Again, I'm an advocate. Put it on auto pay and just wait until the late payment doesn't hurt as much, which is typically 24 months. So, consistently make your payments on time. Do not let that lapse happen again. And if you come to a situation where you feel like, all right, this debt is due, I know it's due, they know it's due, but I'm not going to have the money, call your creditors and schedule something, work something with them so that you can avoid a late payment. A lot of the times with installment loans, you can have your due date switched around and then you'll have a grace period after that. Some are 5 days, some are 10 days. It just depends on the creditor. And just, try to make sure that you're positioning yourself to where you don't consistently make late payments.
There you go. I think what I'm gonna start, I'm gonna go to Office Depot or Staples today. I want to get a whiteboard, man. I want to draw for the people so we can start giving them graphs and charts and be like, listen, this is what you need to do this, and this. I mean, I don't know. I might get one of them big paper sheets that you just rip the papers, but I think a whiteboard is more useful because a whiteboard, you can like erase it. Dry erase board, ain't that what it's called?
I have one sitting right next to my,
Yeah.
literally sitting right here.
Let's go over it. Let's go over it. Give the people an example. Show them like how credit reporting works. Show the little
How's your
letter.
pen? If you writing, what does your handwriting look like?
My
Don't
handwriting
say
is
chicken
very
scratch.
bad. My handwriting is bad. That's what I'm
Well
asking
then,
you.
no sir.
We can go over it as a team, but you're gonna be the hands. I'll be the voice. You write, draw your little square. So we're gonna give y'all the basics of credit repair, guys. The basics, as illustrated by Sharnice Christie. So she needs to pull out the white.
I just love how I wake up, I have my day planned. I know how it's going to go. I talk to you and I'm magically doing something that I didn't sign up for that you said you were going to do. You're like a bully or something.
It's all good. Look, we can imagine that we're drawing it, guys. Let's just walk with me. Let's just all imagine and put our brains together. So first step is you got to look at your credit report. That's the first step. You have to know what's on there to know what you're even disputing or challenging. You can't just blindly fire off letters to nobody it just doesn't make sense. Once you get your credit report, look it over for inaccuracies. The first area that you're going to come across is your personal information, your names, your previous jobs, which shouldn't be there, your birthdays, your previous addresses, your previous alias. Previous addresses and more than one current address should not be reporting. Also, look at the 3 bureaus because this has happened to me. Make sure that they're reporting your address correctly. I don't know how it got mixed up, but I live on a drive. One of my addresses was reporting that I lived on an avenue. That's an inaccuracy. Even though they had the number and the name of my street right, it said, number, name, avenue, and I don't live on avenue. I live on drive. That's an inaccuracy. That's something that you can spot out and tell them to get that removed. For me, I would update your personal. I wouldn't delete it out totally. You have to have an address on file, but get it updated to your actual address. I just told them to change that avenue to drive. I did want them to delete all previous addresses. I don't live here. I don't know why you're reporting this. I didn't tell you to report this stuff. So I want it all gone and they'll clear it out. The reason we want to do this first is because we don't want to allow the debt collectors or the creditors or even the credit bureaus themselves to verify anything that is inaccurate down the line by pairing it with something that they have in our personal information. If I owe John and Doe's debt collection company and they're saying, hey, you lived at 123 Main Street and I just moved from there, let's say 4 or 5 years ago when I did do business with them, now they can say, hey, this is this person. This is Kenzel Pearson. We can verify that it is you. You used to live at this address. We're not even going to do our research because they said it was you and we're showing you it was you. And the bureaus are known for this. There are times where they're not going to do the research. They'll just, okay, the information that they sent us matches the information we have on file. We verified it. And that's why we have those method of verification letters or proof of verification or asking the debt collectors, how did you verify this? And that's why we have those type of letters, because the credit bureaus, they're not obligated to do your job. Your job is to find any inaccuracies and point them out. That's not their job. Their job is literally just to report what the creditors tell them to report. So if a creditor says, hey, you owe me $1 million, you probably never took $1 million loan out in your life, but guess what? They're paying the credit bureaus to report it. And the credit bureaus are going to report it. That's simple. So you look at it, you like $1 million. Oh man, I owed you 1,000. Somebody put in too many zeros. Well, guess what? It's an inaccuracy. Your job is to find that, not their job. So that's the first step. That's just the first step of clearing all that stuff up. You got to find all the inaccuracies. Sharnice definitely takes it another step because she loves to sue. She gets a copy of your full annual, the detailed credit report that shows everything. I don't, and we still get good results. But the way that I do it, it's not a litigation method, or it's not heavy or not strong enough for litigations as hers is with the full thing. I seen one of hers and I was like, oh, you pulling like reports.
That's because like people don't understand like the historical data. All of that stuff is in your consumer report, your credit report, all of that stuff. Like when I found out that all they do is when your personal information is deleted, they archive it and they put it into a historical, data category. Like they still can go back and say, okay, well, we're not gonna do, because this address was previously tied to you. And you're like, is that in my credit file now? No, it's not, but it used to be. Nah, bro, I'm suing everybody. I don't care. Like, I didn't tell you that was my address. I never sent any documentation in that was mine. I don't know who that is. If you're a legacy, like you are a senior or a junior, as women can be juniors too or seconds, I don't know if that's me or if that's a relative. You shouldn't have that in my file. Let's talk about this lawsuit that you're gonna get. Like, I want to know everything. I want to know what you hiding in the cracks and the crevices, because I don't want that stuff tied to me. Like, yeah, I do a full scrub. I'm looking at everything. I don't want my friends tied to me. And with your LexisNexis report, if you have an ex that you lived with, they in your consumer report. People that they married or that they're with, that person is in your consumer report. I don't know these people. No, remove it all, take it away.
There you go. And that's just the first step, y'all. We didn't even start talking about nothing that actually like goes crazy with the back and forth. I mean, it's so much you can do. For our next step, we want to address the secondary bureaus. We're not even going to credit the big three that everybody knows, the TransUnions, Experian, and Equifaxes. We're going to the Innovises, the LexisNexis, Check Systems, Factor Trust. I mean, it is DataX. It is so many, depending on what you have on your credit profile. When I tell you guys, it is so many secondary bureaus that have this information. It'll blow your mind because you're like, okay, I got 2 derogatories. Well, what kind of derogatories are they? Now I need to know what kind of derogatories. Are they credit cards? Are they old loans? Are they old, car note? Like, what kind of derogatories are they? Because depending on what it is, I'm going to have to address like 4 or 5 extra secondary bureaus. And what we're doing with them, a lot of people will say they want to freeze or they want to opt out. I delete the information. I want to delete the information because a freeze and an opt out, to me, what they do is they stop new information from being added, but they don't stop the credit bureaus from accessing the information that was already there.
Right.
Meaning if it is hurting you and you freeze or opt out, it's still hurting you. It's still there. They can still pull it. But deleting it, now when TransUnion says, hey, LexisNexis, you got this bankruptcy? They like, what bankruptcy? Ain't no bankruptcy there.
Right.
Because and I don't LexisNexis is being sued. I actually got a check from them. Several people got checks from them. LexisNexis is being sued for legally pulling public records on people's credit profiles. Like, they
wait a minute, wait, look.
You don't remember
what? I saw it. No, I saw it. I read and I thought that it was a regional thing. And I was like, oh, let me go ahead on. And because I don't know anybody outside of your region that got a check. So I literally.
People in California got one. And I don't know, because my region, it said the Virginia region, so the DMV. But the person was living in California, so I don't know if you've had to live in the DMV during X amount of time frame, or
right. That's what I was under the impression.
But either way, the fact that they're being sued in a region just opens it up for other regions, because if the DMV one, what's stopping the other states from winning? Specifically Missouri. I know we always talk about Missouri. We always gotta get to Missouri. We
be like in the middle. We're in the middle, and we get everything last. Like the coast, either coast, y'all get everything new, and we're like 2 years behind everything. So yeah, it's so sad.
Let me see. One sec.
I'm definitely about to call LexisNexis though. I'm gonna as soon as we off this podcast, I'm gonna be like, yo,
Because
word, I need you to run me my money.
public records cannot legally be on your credit profile. And you guys know public records, bankruptcies, liens, child support. And these are common things that are on our credit profiles, and we just live with it. Oh, a bankruptcy can sit for 10 years. How can a bankruptcy sit for 10 years when it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place?
So then that sounds like what they're doing is invading consumer privacy, which is probably what the original filer sued for. Invasion of private consumer privacy, because even though they collect that information, that's being impartial to the consumer. I didn't tell you to report this information. It don't have nothing to do with you. And the credit bureaus, they actually contract companies to go and find negative information. So even if LexisNexis was sued, I can see TransUnion and Equifax and Experian being sued for the same thing because the contracts that they're holding. I'm not saying that this is the case or whatever, but I can see something like that happening because they're hiring contractors to find negative information to literally mess up your credit.
And there you go, because they get
Man,
paid.
you're gonna have me look into this stuff. I'm this gonna sidetrack me. Thanks, KP.
More value for the mentorship, y'all.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be like, look, y'all. Oh, my brain. I'm making notes.
So we ain't gonna break the whole thing down. I was just getting y'all started. Let's talk about Facebook. Whoo, boy, y'all. Facebook tried me this morning, y'all. Let's talk about Facebook specifically, because Facebook really, really tried me. So one of my brothers tagged me this morning, and so Chief Keef, he made this song called Love Sosa 10 years ago. He was 16. It was hip hop wave. All he did was share it. He tagged me. He said, me and my son used to always rap this song. My son loved that song. You know, he was 3 turning 4. Yeah. So, you know, we rapping or whatever. And I literally copied and pasted. I went to Google. I asked for the lyrics of the song, and I copied and pasted. I didn't alter or anything. I copied and pasted a section of the song that I liked, that I kept reciting 10 years ago, and pasted it on Facebook, and they blocked me for 3 days and said I was inciting violence. And don't get me wrong, his lyrics, they were pretty vulgar. They curse words and this and that. But it's the fact that I was tagged in a post about a rapper, and then I proceeded to post that rapper's lyrics under that post. It's like they are getting to a point where you're not able to express yourself freely. You're not able to talk. You're not able to copy and paste anymore. I've seen people get blocked for sharing posts. You know, I've seen people get blocked days after they make a post, almost like it was a delayed blockage, which is crazy. And
or a year. I got blocked for something I posted 2 years ago. And
it's crazy. It's like, what are we supposed to do? You telling me now I just got to monitor everything I say? Everybody on Facebook has to be like, oh, let me double check that before I hit send. I don't want the Facebook police to lock me up. So it sucks. It definitely sucks. I disagree with their decision, and they gave it back to me. I guess they had a real person look at it, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. How can you block me for copying and pasting lyrics to this specific rapper's song? And this is the second time it happened. I think the very first time was like 2 years ago. I did that. I did it with a Future lyric, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, so you telling me you're Facebook, you're able to profit off this rapper's lyrics on your site, but I can't recite the lyrics on your site? How does that make sense? Because I can guarantee you Facebook making money off of Love Sosa in those reels. But, it is neither here nor there. They played with me, man. I was upset. I was mad this morning. I was like, we ain't doing a live. I don't care. I was crying. I was like, nothing. We ain't doing nothing. So we got it fixed. They revoked it. They was like, oh, sorry, guy. It's like getting detained and they letting you out the police car like halfway to the precinct. How am I get home? After they bust your head a little bit. How am I get home? Right. But that's it. We had a couple questions come in. We asked all the questions. I'm gonna give us one more before we close out. Of course, I would say I'm gonna give us one more. We got this long one. This is a long question. So this is actually a Michelle question too. So this is good. It says, I have a medical collection for $5,600. I need to get removed so that I can expect a job. Oh my God. I think they meant to say accept. But they said expect a job out of state. I would be able to get an apartment in a great neighborhood. Okay, so that they wrote that all butchered. I'm sorry. I'm going to read it again exactly how they wrote it, so y'all understand that this is what I'm reading, and then we'll break it down to what we think they meant.
Okay.
I have a medical collections totaling $5,600. I need to get them removed so I can accept a job out of state, and I would be able to get an apartment in a great neighborhood.
Is it one collection? Because you kept saying it's like plural. Is it one collection? That's 5,000 or the multiple?
Oh no, it's not A. I added the letter A, and I'm sorry. It says I have medical collections.
Okay, because I was like, medical collections. Oh my God!
It hurt me. It hurt me to read it because it says I can accept, not ACC accept, EXE accept. They put the wrong accept, like, not accept the package. They're saying you, everybody can come with me except you. They were saying that accept.
I'm not letting you read nothing else no more.
Like, I can accept a job out of state, and I'm looking at it like accept a job. Like, okay, so what's the exception? You saying I can accept a job? EXCEPT. I can accept a job.
So okay, look. So we're not gonna. That's poor person. So. So. All right, so I guess it really just depends on who the creditor is. In some cases, assuming that the medical debt was not sold, right, you can contact the creditor and see if you can contact the original creditor. I apologize. And see if you can get the account recalled so that you can make payments on it. Once you do that, I think it's like 30 days or something like that. You make your first payment, and then you can actually ask them for financial assistance to pay off the remaining debt. Like, I'm struggling. I got 14 kids. Please, I don't have 14 kids, but if you have, whatever the situation, you can explain it to where you can put yourself in a situation to where you can utilize a financial, like charity typically is what it is. They will, in some cases, grant you an award letter to cover the full balance or something like that. The alternative is to see if you can get it removed and pay the debt for less than what is actually owed. The newer the debt, the harder it is to negotiate. But the older it is, like if it's 4 years, something like that, you can, I personally start at 30% or whatever the full balance is, just to get it paid and then get it removed. I don't pay debt unless it's getting removed personally. So whatever the case is, if you want it off of your credit, set it up to where, that's exactly what happens. So you can either pay the debt if you want, or, recall it and have somebody else pay it. That's the short answer, I think.
I mean, it works. Sorry, I was creating a different game plan. All right, that is it for us. We are good to go. Let me close this stuff. You know what I'm gonna start doing? I probably should have been doing it. When you can do it too. Everybody that's watching, y'all can do it too. I'm gonna start going live on my TikTok while we're doing the Wake Up Wednesdays to have like double coverage, because I get a lot of questions on the TikTok, so I can answer like, hey guys, check out my Wake Up Wednesdays. And then I hit with the wow.
Did you change the number for the mentorship down at the bottom? Did you fix that before we went live?
It's 904. 903 is the correct one.
Okay. Because I was like, I don't know. We talked about it this morning. I'm like, yeah.
All right. All right, guys. So the mentorship is actually live. We are good to go. Text mentorship is no longer going to give you that pending message. We are covering so much. Actually, you wanna show them? No? Yes? No? Say something. What we doing?
Oh, you can't see me? Yeah. Like,
You
I gave
said
you a
yeah?
thumbs up.
Oh, she gave me. I had the other screen up. Let me go.
Oh my God.
We're not gonna walk through the whole mentorship. I'm just gonna give them the tidbits of the outside.
Okay.
Actually, how do I do this? Oh, I can't because it's gonna show everything. All right, I can't, guys. Sorry. It's like, nah, I can't. I'm not. I'm just joking with y'all. I'm joking. All right. Can you see?
No.
How about
Oh,
now?
there it is.
There we go. All right. So we got the mentorship, and again, it's not it's still in pre-sale. I mean pre-order. It'll be done by the end of the month. Like completed. You guys can get in now. We have welcome to the mentorship. This is just us meeting your coaches. We have first steps to business growth. So a bunch of things that you'll need in order to get your business started. You know, a bunch of tips, a bunch of things that you guys have to understand. A few zooms in there. We have basic credit. We talk about basic credit every Wednesday. This is giving you a full breakdown of basic credit. Then we have advanced credit with yours truly. Look, go ahead, Shanice, raise your hand. Be excited. Shanice gives you guys a full breakdown of the advanced credit courses. So, advanced credit, you got to understand basic credit before you dive into advanced credit, because it makes no sense of you trying to understand consumer laws when you don't understand how to read a credit report. It doesn't make sense. Automate, we have Elena. So right now, Elena only has CRC automations in here. She is adding Dispute Fox, Go High Level, and Active Campaign. And then depending on what you guys are requesting, she can add other softwares, but those are like the big four. So we're trying our best to give you those automations. With the Elevate, it's with yours truly. I'm giving you guys different ways of finding your target audience, different ways of scaling your business. I won't sit and talk about each one, but as you guys can see, this is different things that you'll need to start scaling your business. But this is only after you've educated yourself and automated your business. Reason why we have it in this specific order, educate, automate, elevate, is because you have to have the education before you do anything in business. We understand that. So we want to educate you first. Whether you want to be fully educated, partially educated, or not educated at all, we give you this first because it makes no sense to have a fully automated business and teach you how to scale it when you don't have a clue what to do with the people that sign up. So educate is always first. Automate is second, because now you have the education. You can start bringing people in manually, while you're building the automation. Once the automations are built, now it's time to elevate. The reason why elevate is last is because now it's easier to scale now that you have all your automations in place and now that you're fully educated, answering questions and teaching your team and doing all the other things. Mm-hmm. Then we got a couple bonuses, credit to cash. You guys know me. I love, turning credit into cash. Different ways of doing it. It is different. It's different methods that we use. It's different tactics that you guys can go about turning your credit into cash, or learning how to fix your credit with your credit. That is a huge thing. I know, and I'll cut this off. I know one week, it was like 2 weeks ago. What's up with you? What you're up here talking about? I'm not sure who that is. It says Facebook user. Somebody just said what's going on. Mm-hmm. What's going on? I'm trying to see who that is.
Yeah, I don't.
It just says Facebook user. So what's going on? Unsure who you are. Random Facebook person. But What's up? So the last part, like I was saying, you can use your credit to fix your credit, and it's crazy that you really can. If Ryan sounds, what's going on? What's going on, Ryan? What's going on? So a different tactic, and I won't break this thing down fully. Like I tell you guys this on my TikToks and on my reels, but within the course, I'll give you a full detailed breakdown of how to do this. But you use your credit like you would use a debit card. We don't use debit cards anymore, but with strategic usage of your credit cards, you get the cashback rewards, you get the travel rewards, you get the points, you get all the things you need in order to stack money to then use the money that the credit card lenders gave you to pay back any debts that you may have, to pay down more of your credit cards, to, you know, make your credit better by lowering your utilization. There's so many different ways of doing it. I even have a strategy if you have maxed out credit cards. If all of your credit cards are maxed out, even if you live paycheck to paycheck, you can still use this strategy to fix your credit. And I promise you guys, it is not hard as people think, but it goes back to, I think, like our second question of responsibility, because you can't just splurge and you can't just spend money unnecessarily. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the capabilities, you have to follow this in a strategic way in order to get the points and to get the rewards and to get the money to pay down these cards. And then when you're paying them down, that doesn't mean you can go spend them more. It just means keep paying them down until they're back to zero. It could take a year. It could take 2 years. It could take a very long time. Don't get me wrong, because when your cards are maxed out, it's only so much you can do. But the more availability you have, the more you're able to do, the more money you're able to make, the faster you're able to do that. Different tactics like the avalanche method. Is it avalanche or snowball? Everybody's got different names for it, but paying back the smallest balance for, I think it's two different, because I've heard
it is. Avalanche is the biggest to the smallest, and snowball is the smallest to the biggest.
There you go. So yeah. It's the biggest. What is it? The biggest interest rate card. Pay that one back first.
Yeah.
The snowball method is the smallest balance card. Pay that one off first. But either way, both methods work, because if you're paying back the highest interest rate cards off over the month, you're paying less interest until you pay them all back. If you do the snowball method of paying off the smallest balance first, now you don't have that minimum due anymore. You can use that money to help pay back the other cards. So it's different strategies. We want to help you guys. We're helping with personal. It's the mentorship is catered toward credit repair business owners, teaching you both business and personal credit. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Sorry. Bye. I'm teaching you guys both personal and business credit, automations, scaling, turning credit into cash. Plus, we're gonna have guest speakers. So, two things. Wake Up Wednesdays, we are having guest speakers. We have a few scheduled already, so we're excited about that. But also within the mentorship, we're gonna have guest speakers that are gonna go more in depth within different industries. So that's huge. If you guys are in the wholesaling, if you guys are in the trucking, if you guys are in the SaaS, what is it, SaaS? It probably added too many A's. But if you guys are into anything outside of credit repair, we're having guest speakers come in to teach you how those industries work. Jesus, I don't know who this is. Please don't call me back to back to back. You know, if you want to learn about other industries, that is the best time to do that. It's like being able to make money within one business and then invest it into another business to make money. Now you got two businesses making money. If you start in credit repair, you learn credit. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's get a stack of cards that's going to give me $150,000, right? I already have a booming business over here, but guess what? Now I got a booming business with an extra $150,000. Let me go ahead and pop $70,000 into another business and rise that one up, you know? So it's definitely different ways, and we're going to have weekly Zooms, and I'm going to get one of my team members to make us a detailed sheet of everything that you guys can expect within the mentorship. So there's an expectation thing, and that's something that we teach too, setting expectations, because that's huge. Having a product with no expectations will get you Facebook groups created for you that bash you. So let's just say that.
Oh my God. Hey, look her.
We don't want any Facebooks created about the Elevation Academy bashing us. We're going to do our very best to get you guys what you need. But yeah, give me maybe until Friday to have like a mock up. Kim is really good. Kim might get it to me today as long as I get her what she's asking for. But that's it. If you want to learn more, guys, go ahead and text mentorship to the number below. It is going to be there every Wednesday. Oh, it says KP is having technical difficulties. That was last week. I'm not having those anymore, guys. I was traveling on that I was on that Tesla Wi-Fi and it was not the best. Oh, AJ just hearted my live, my bro.
No,
AJ,
no. He hearted mine. Mine.
No, it says
yes,
he hearted your live. He hearted my live.
Me.
He hearted my
on my
live.
page. Look, I don't.
All right, guys.
Y'all friendship. Y'all can't be friends no more.
As usual, every Wednesday, 11. We actually might change the time. We're thinking about it. We might change the time. We already told our guest speakers 11, so it won't be for within a month for sure. But maybe coming up in December, we might move it a little earlier because we know you guys wake up earlier. So we want to wake you up 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever. But appreciate you for showing up. Appreciate the questions. Oh, see, AJ just wrote it. He said, "Bro, live." He hearted my live.
Oh my God! I'm just done. I don't even stop watching. Stop watching.
Right,
like no.
Thank you. See you next Wednesday. Right.